It's on unraveling. It's on unraveling.
Shalom, shalom. We would like to welcome you to the Truth Be Told Flex podcast, where I am your host, Sha'ir Yeshub Judah, sitting alongside of Oxafaya Sheoku. We're going to do it like we always do on every day that the Greeks call Thursday. We're going to have ourselves a great show. And if you have not done it yet, I ask that you would take time out and subscribe to the show and also hit that like button. With that being said, let's prepare ourselves to be edified.
With your mask on, check the me's, man, they bout to get their blast on. Prophecy, interpretation, Isaiah 55:11, so it ain't no faking. Crack your dough, it's getting close. I'm here to tell you, just in case you didn't know. Listen, man, in case you didn't know.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. I am your host, Sha'ir Yeshub Judah, and I would like to welcome you to the Truth Be Told Flex podcast. As you can see, I am by myself tonight. Oxify, they are in the busy season at the place where he works, so he would like to send his condolences for not being able to make it to the show. I told him that we will represent him well. But you know how we do it every week on the day that the Greeks call Thursday. We get into what's happening in the news, what's happening around the world. And today, as I was getting ready for the show, I was going to, grab me something to drink on. The news was on. ABC World. No. The local news was on here in the city where I'm at. And it grabbed my attention. In Missouri City, in the neighborhood in Missouri City, which is like a suburb here in Houston, what happened is that overnight, I guess someone was putting flyers in the neighborhood inside of Ziploc bags with black eyed peas in them. That's what it looked like to me. And what they said is that Missouri City neighborhood concerned after anti-Semitic flyers found in driveway. Anti-Semitic flyers found in driveway. Now I'm gonna share my screen here because I want you to see the article. Okay. Here we go. This is the article, and the thing that got me it was funny to me. It was comical to me because one of the things that the reporter said is that the Missouri City Police is going to figure out what charges could be filed against the individual or individuals that put these flyers in the neighborhood. And for the life of me, I couldn't understand how you can even be talking about charges when leaving brochures is something that religious people have been doing since the time I've been born. If you grew up in any neighborhood, you have been bombarded with Jehovah Witnesses or Seventh-day Adventists. And they'll knock on the door, and if nobody answers, one of the things that they do is what? They will leave a brochure, right? And so this is a flyer. I would consider this here as, nothing other than freedom of speech, right? No one was hurt. No one was threatened. They came in, they left their information the same way the paper boy leaves the paper on the front porch in the morning. They left their information and they went on about their business. So it says, I'm not going to play the video because I didn't watch the video, so I don't know how long the video is or what's in the video, but I am going to read some of this article. It says that Missouri City, Texas, Some neighbors in Missouri City expressed concern after anti-Semitic flyers was found inside plastic bags on driveways Wednesday. We're just completely shocked, just blown away, said resident Tia Potts. Potts said her dad came across the flyer at their home as he was walking the dog. It just makes me sad that this could be this close to home, she said. To summarize, the flyer talks about a COVID agenda and Jewish people. Another neighbor who don't want to show his face said he has lived in the area for more than 10 years and received the message too. A little bit shocking to see, he said. Channel 2 showed a copy of the flyer to Mark Taban, regional director for Anti-Defamation League Southwest Region. It's spreading vile anti-Semitism and playing on stereotypes that go back centuries, Taban said. He called the discovery disturbing and troubling. It's hard to know if there was anything particular that was motivating the timing, Taban said. And as I said, it is happening more frequently as of late. So again, Anti-Defamation League. What is the Anti-Defamation League? The Anti-Defamation League is a law that was passed by the government that no one can say anything about Jewish people. Anything that is said about Jewish people can be viewed as hate talk, and it could be you could be persecuted by the extent of the law. So once again, we have it where a whole group of people are protected by the law, but yet again, when you look at the Negro, who protects him? Anybody can say anything at any time about us. Dave Chappelle said it himself best. I did a whole show and I said nigga 993 times throughout the show, and not one person got mad. The first time I said something about a transgender, all the world want to crash in on me. Same thing here. Asian hate. Can't say nothing about Asian hate. About an Asian nowadays, right? Anything that you say about anybody or anything else, there is a problem. If the Jews had came through the neighborhood of black people and left some type of a flyer, any type of a flyer, whatever it may have been, you'd have never heard anything about it on the news. The only reason that this is talked about on the news is because it has something to do with the Jews. The information, I ask you, think about it. Is the information wrong? Do there not seem like there is some type of an agenda that is going on? Do it not seem like that everything that is happening around us in some kind of way is being orchestrated by a certain group of people that the Bible itself calls the synagogue of Satan? Look at the last names: Zuckerberg, Lewinsky, Fauci. Look at the last names. I mean, it don't take a rocket scientist for anybody to figure this stuff out. What are you afraid of? That you're being discovered? That people are finally finding out that the world that we live in is being eaten within the inside out by a small group of people who only has a loyalty to themselves? Is that what you're afraid of? I mean, Jehovah's Witnesses knocks on my door. I don't answer. I go to the front door. They have left a flyer on my door. If I was to pick up the phone and call 911 because there is a flyer on my door and on the door of my neighbor and throughout my neighborhood, the police will come and probably take me to jail for calling them for a non-emergency situation. You got the whole Missouri Police Department out here in this neighborhood telling people to check their surveillance cameras between the hours of 12 o'clock midnight and 6 o'clock in the morning to see if you can see who put these flyers in the neighborhood so that we can bring them in and question them. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Absolutely no sense to me that this would even be news in the midst of everything that we're going through. Which actually jumps up a story that was at the bottom that I feel like that would be great to follow this story up, because it's pretty much talking about the same thing. Pretty much talking about the same thing. So, there was a parade in a town where a guy in an SUV come streaming through the middle of the parade, and this guy hit multiple people, ran over multiple people, left people dead, left people injured, and lo and behold, the guy was a brother that had did this. His name was Daryl Brooks. Daryl Brooks is the guy. It says Daryl Brooks shared pro-Hitler memes, called for violence against white people. Whenever the media do these types of stories, one thing that I need you to understand is that this is strategic. What they are doing is they are disturbing emotions of both fear and hate at the same time. They are disturbing the emotions of fear towards the people who just truly don't understand. And they are causing a whole group of people to look at another group of people in a hateful way. It says that he was an ex-con charged over the death of 6 people at a Wisconsin Christmas parade. Said he shared social media posts calling for violence against white people and suggesting Hitler was right for killing Jews. See? This here, these are like pins that is poking the bear. In Missouri City, there's an uproar because there is anti-Semitic flyers being found in the neighborhood, right? And here we got this guy who suggests that Hitler was right for killing the Jews. It says Daryl Brooks Jr., who has a decade-long rap sheet, shared a series of disturbing memes and messages on social media, most which have been deleted since his arrest for Sunday's deadly carnage. So if these memes have been deleted on his social media, what proof is there to us that these memes even really existed? Things get deleted all the time. And they gonna pull that stuff up for evidence. So pull up the evidence, produce the evidence that on his social media account that he had what it is that you said. They include numerous posts attacking cops, comparing them to Ku Klux Klan members, and calling them violent street gangs, as well as calling for violence towards white people according to screenshots. Learned ND, taught behavior. He wrote on January 9 last year, amid the violent upheaval of George Floyd's murder by Minnesota cop, according to a screenshot shared by the Daily Mail. So when we start back knocking white people, TF, out, I don't want to hear it. The old white people too, knock them, TF out, period. He wrote under his rap name, Meth Boy Fly, along with a middle finger emoji. Look, people, I'm going to pause here for a minute. If you cannot see that this is a character that has been made up, not saying that the guy that you're looking at is not real, okay? Not saying that he is not real. But there are individuals that are amongst us that are called targeted individuals, where the government target them. The government target them, and the government put them up under what we would call MK Ultra mind control, okay? Where these people are just as much as the victim as the people that they victimize. You don't have to believe me on this. In fact, I don't want you to believe me on this. You can go look it up for your own self. This is not something that I made up. Denzel Washington played in a movie that was called The Manchurian Candidate. I believe that I'm saying that right. That's what that whole movie was about. So you telling me that this is a guy that the police and the government and the FBI and the CIA is known about all of this time, and yet they still letting this guy here walk the streets? He'll go in and he'll get out. He'll go in and he'll get out. In the process of him being in, nobody knows exactly what was being done to this individual. Who is his real family? Where is this guy really from? What is his real name? Can his real identity be found other than what the media is giving us? Police have yet announced a motive. This is where this gets interesting. Police have yet to announce a motive for Sunday's carnage. But all 6 who died, including an 8-year-old boy, were white. So it's like he just took his SUV and he drove through and he was just picking, okay, that's a white person, boom, that's a white person, boom, that's a white person, boom. Oh, that's a black man, I'm a turn. Oh, white, boom, okay? Maybe because all of them was white, because this was a majority white parade that was going on, and you triggered him with a signal word or with a sound or whatever, and he lost it at that time. The thing about these sleeper agents is that these people can fully function in society amongst us daily. They're real people. The majority of your mass shooters, sleeper agents. Go back and look at the pictures. They look just as weird as this guy right here. You'll be hard-pressed to find real family on them. You'll be hard-pressed to find any background on them. Like the 15-year-old that just did the shooting here in Chicago. I believe it was in Chicago. Who is this guy? Where did this guy really come from? This guy dad supposedly had went and bought a gun on Thursday, and he shoots up the school on Friday or something like that with the same gun that his dad had just bought. Where his parents was just at the school a couple of hours before the kid did the school shooting. All of this is narratives that they are building, that they are setting up on top of each other for their agenda. And whose agenda is it? The small sect of people whom the Bible calls the synagogue of Satan. These are the people that's behind all of this. They own the media. They own the newspaper. They own the news stations. They own the social media sites. They own it all. So they have not announced a motive for Sunday's carnage, but all 6 who died, including an 8-year-old boy, was white. 2015. Here's his rap sheet. 2015, he also shared a disturbing anti-Semitic meme that appeared to align with the beliefs of the Black Hebrew Israelites. Here they go, people. Sooner or later, there are going to be two criminals that are not criminals, that are going to be viewed as criminals. Us who identify ourselves as our true heritage as Hebrews, and those who refuse to take the cocktail. These are going to be viewed as criminals. They're going to be able to come and find you and lock you up because, two, you're going to be a threat to society violently because of your belief, and you're going to be a threat to society because you didn't take the cocktail, so therefore you're a danger to others. His beliefs align with the black Hebrew Israelites. You see, they put that in red because they wanted that to stick out. According to other screenshots shared by the Daily Mail, titled, Hitler Knew Who the Real Jews Were. It shares a widely debunked claim. Who debunked it? Who debunked it? A widely debunked claim that the Nazis maniac had warned that the genocide was partly driven because he knew the Negroes was the true Hebrews. It suggested World War III would start when people learned Hitler was right and did the world a favor by killing the Jews. There's no source on the meme, and a Reuters investigation has made clear that there is no reason to suggest the warning was made by Hitler, who saw black people as a threat to the purity of a Germanic race. In his rap song, Brooks also bragged that he was a terrorist and a killer in the city, and yet they let this cat here roam the streets. Mother Boy Fly learned ND Talk behavior. I don't even know what ND Talk is. If anybody know what that is, please let me know. So when we start back knocking white people TF out, I don't want to hear it. The old white people too, knock them TF out, period. And he called himself a terrorist. And he's able to go in and get out up until the day that he took his SUV and he ran it into a parade, a crowded parade, killing 8 people, 8 white people. And then he found himself on the porch ringing a doorbell saying that he was looking for an Uber. See, these are the pieces. On the door, on the porch, saying that he was supposed to had picked up his Uber here. Could you please call it? The guy probably had absolutely no idea what was going on, people. And I'm not saying this here, because I want to feel sorry for him. He should be punished for the crime that he did. This was criminal what he did. I'm not in no way saying that what he did was not criminal and that he should not be held accountable for it. But what I'm saying is that in the midst of this, and this is a black guy, and I feel the same way for the little poor white kid that did the school shooting just last week. They are probably just as much of a victim as the victims that they victimize. With that being said, it's time for us to go to our music break. I am Shahir Yeshub Judah, and again, I would like to welcome you to the Truth Be Told Flex podcast. If you are new here, do not forget to smash that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel. And we got some other good news because we got some strange stuff coming up in the news after the music break. We're about to listen to Lawrence. This is Jump Remix, and it's going to be featuring Jay Lutch and Yapai Q. Here we go.
see you over there with side eyes and a stone face. Look like you're about to cry with your story. Don't be holding back your tears, don't be phony. People walking right past by you, singing like we did in the bayou. Praise God for the new day, cause you wasn't taken out the way. Old man gone away, let the new man manifest today. Say it again, old man gone away, let the new man manifest today. We gon' jump, we gon' jump, and I ain't gotta worry about nothing. And I ain't ashamed to throw my hands up. Yeah, yeah, we gon' jump, we gon' jump, and I don't care who is watching. Y'all rock, I don't feel jumping. Yeah.
Look, escape from oppression and jump ship. Ancestors on them boats, they was jumping. L pulled out a remix, jump in. Still led by the Ruach, we all in. When them dogs out the kennels gave chase, our forefathers was jumping them gates. Man, we can't get a break. Guilty, Yahusha on the case. Hey, hold on, we jumped in old times in the club. Here's a plug, now jump for Zion. Sticks in the mud, the branches fell off. It's our turn, time to pay the cost. Hey,
we gon' jump, we gon' jump, and I ain't gotta worry about nothing. And I ain't ashamed to throw my hands up. Yeah, yeah, we gon' jump, we gon' jump, and I don't care who is watching.
No, I don't care.
Y'all rock, I don't feel jumping.
Get off your feet and praise the Most High, yeah. Be not ashamed when it concerns me. I know the devil trying to hide your breakthrough. He couldn't break you. Went through that fire, but I'm here to hydrate you. Giving beauty for ashes, let me adorn you. Let me put you on a garment, let me crown you. Just know your testimony, breaking chains, give me that. Deboing on a couple demons, you can have that. Loose the wicked buns, I ain't trying to stay intact. Yeah, fighting for my soul, sending praises when I feel attacked. Spiritual weapon, me jumping, call it self-defense. I don't care what y'all say, y'all should got the last say. Heaven is, Father, please remove it like a toothpaste.
We gon' jump,
Today, and forever,
we gon' jump,
forever,
I ain't gotta worry about nothing. I ain't ashamed to throw my hands up. Yeah, we gon' jump, we gon' jump, and I don't care who is watching. Y'all rock, I don't feel jumping. Yeah, we gon' jump,
today, and
we
forever,
gon' jump,
forever,
and I ain't
ever,
gotta
ever,
worry about nothing. And I ain't ashamed to throw my hands up. Yeah, yeah, we gon' jump, we gon' jump, and I don't care.
Right, all right. That was Jump, Lorvins, Jay Lutch, and your Pi Q. That sounded like a Roshan Judah track on the cool. Man. Those two cats was to get together and do something together. That would be a nice song, a really nice song. Let's move on though. Germany locks unvaccinated. Germany locks unvaccinated out of public life, and the mandate looms. This is real. This was almost what I started with until I heard the story about what was happening right here in my backyard. The reason why I want to talk about this is because we have got to get in between our ears. We have got to understand that real soon, I'm going to reiterate what I said in the first segment. Real soon, those of us who are refusing the cocktail are going to be criminals. Now, understand that this has nothing to do with public health. This has nothing to do with with saving the lives of others. This has nothing to do with even saving your life. This has everything to do with being able to micromanage us as a people. I worked in a warehouse, right? And one thing about the product that are in warehouses is that it don't matter how big the warehouse is, it don't matter how much material is in the warehouse. Everything that is in that warehouse, including the product that is lost, is in the system somewhere, which means that it just has to be located. Somebody just put it in the wrong place. They want this cocktail in you in order for them to be able to locate you. This don't have anything to do with no virus. This virus, if it was as deadly as they say that it was, there is no way that these sports arenas would be able to be back open in the way that they are, just because people got the cocktail in them. We can start going. And if you remember, we started going back to what we would call normalcy, right? Because we're nowhere near normal. And whatever you call normal, you can forget about that. That'll never come back. We're just going downhill from now. But they're allowing people to congregate in masses, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 people in one venue at a time. If this virus was really that bad, there's no way that they would allow you to. But they keep throwing all of these different variants out, the Omicron and the Delta variant and all of this here, because they are expecting people to start getting fearful and be like, okay, well, I know I said that I wouldn't go get it, but man, it just keep mutating, so I better go do something. No. Remember the verse what David said, where he said that 1,000 will fall by my left and 10,000 by my right, but it shall not come nigh unto me. This is what the wicked of the earth want to take from you. They want to take from you your connection to your power. One of the last lessons that I was teaching my family was we need to embrace who we are as Hebrew Israelites, because our very DNA is royalty, and they know that. And by putting in synthetic DNA, they are destroying the royal DNA that our power gave to us. They know that. They know who we are. They have been working a long time to try to tap into who we are. When Yasha said that the kingdom is within you, he's talking about your DNA. So if I can go in there and I can cut out a part of your DNA and I can paste it with what it is that I want to, and I can send a message, I have now destroyed you of who you really are, and you are no longer who you think you are. And what's even sad is that the majority of the people who have gotten this cocktail, they don't even realize that what the government has done to them is gave them AIDS, acquired immune deficiency. So many people are going to start dying of autoimmune diseases that wouldn't kill nobody but the frail and the weak and the old. But your immune system is going to be so compromised that the smallest little sickness is going to start taking people out of here. So Germany is now starting to lock up the unvaccinated. How long do you think it's going to be before it comes over here? After all, your president did say not too long ago that his patience is running thin. His patience is running thin. Berlin unvaccinated people across Germany will soon be excluded from non-essential stores, restaurants, sports, culture venues. Chancellor Angela Merkel announced Thursday, and Parliament will consider a general vaccine mandate as part of an effort to curb coronavirus infection. Merkel announced the measures after meeting with federal and state leaders as nation again topped 70,000 new confirmed cases in a 24-hour period. How do anybody in the world, how can you even argue with that? When you are the ones who make the numbers, and then you turn them over to the people who report the numbers, who could argue with that? Who's to say that 70,000 newly confirmed cases in a 24-hour period is true, other than the people who want you to take the cocktail? And if you don't, you can't go to stores or restaurants or sporting events or culture venues. See? So we're going to tell you why this is so important. It's so important because within the last 24 hours, we have 70,000 new confirmed cases. How do I know? She said the steps was necessary to address concerns that hospitals could become overloaded with patients and suffering from COVID-19 infections, which are much more likely to be serious in people who have not been vaccinated. Well, when I go back and I look at Event 201, that was one of the main issues that you guys brought up in Event 201 was that hospitals are going to get full of the infected. We're not going to have enough ventilators for the infected. We're not going to have enough healthcare workers for the infected. So really what I'm saying is you guys playing out in real life what you already rehearsed right before all of this even came about. That's what I'm seeing. And you can say all you want, which are more likely to be serious in people who have not been vaccinated. When I read the news and I'm seeing people who are vaccinated getting sick daily and dying all at the same time. So what good is the vaccination? There was a lady who used to be on The View. I cannot remember her name right now. Let me see if she's still on my screen. I can't remember her name right now. Matter of fact, it is. I think I am going to share this here because this is what they don't want out. I'm going to share this here. This here was not part of the show, but we're going to make it part of the show. Listen to this conversation. This was on The View. I believe it was last week or the week before last.
Let's discuss. Yeah. Let's address the elephant in the room because you were supposed to join. You were supposed to join us in the studios weeks ago, but you couldn't because ABC has a very strict policy. You can't get into this building unless you're fully vaccinated. Everybody in this room knows that and is vaccinated. But you made a conscious decision not to get the vaccine. Now the CDC says a person 10 times less likely to be hospitalized from COVID and 11 times less likely to die if they've gotten the vaccine. So why didn't you get it?
Yes, my story is a little bit unique. I'll share that first before I get into those CDC numbers. But
remember, we have only a certain amount of time, Jed, if you want to get everything in.
I have. Right. So I want to let why I'm not there. I have a medical exemption to the vaccine that's been written by my infectious disease vaccinated specialist in New York State, posted by 3 other doctors. I'm not a candidate for this vaccine. I also have sky-high, multi-tiered, multifaceted natural immunity, very, very high, that has also been proven, it has been shown, and it is substantiated by letters from these doctors. So for me personally, this vaccine poses a greater risk than a benefit. I'm also not a risk to any of you. I know there's been a lot of debate about that, but I have these doctors who've gone on record that as well. So my point about all of this is that I am not anti-vax. What I really want is for people to make these decisions for themselves. I want every one of you to sit with your family members, to sit with your trusted doctors and to say, what is the best decision for me? However, I do oppose mandates. I oppose them on the fact that let's look at the science. This is a vaccine that was created to prevent severity of disease and to prevent hospitalizations. We can have a whole debate on that in itself. But the vaccine does not prevent you from getting COVID and does not prevent you from transmitting
Oh my
COVID.
goodness.
Reality,
Well,
and
no,
we have
that's
seen that.
not so. Come on.
No,
You've been at Fox
True,
TV
and you
too
don't have
long.
to you don't listen to me on that. You don't have to listen to me. You can listen to the director of the CDC. You can look at the CDC's website. That is why masks were reinstated for people who were vaccinated, because they said, and they admitted, they came out and said, for this Delta variant, transmission is going to be a thing for vaccinated and unvaccinated people. So I'm not opposed to the vaccine, but I am opposed to the mandate.
762,000 people have died from COVID, including Manny's in-laws. And we've been friends a long time, but Manny's parents, I just don't understand why you would choose to prioritize your personal freedom over health and safety of others. And I just really don't think that we should allow this kind of misinformation on our website. We've had the United States Surgeon General debunk.
Yes, I heard what he said.
Everything that you've just said, and I just don't think we should
So when you
allow
have the
this
Surgeon
kind of
General
misinformation on our air. I'm really sorry,
Sunny, first of all,
I'm really sorry,
Sunny, first of all, I would say to you as a friend, what I just said to you is I am prioritizing my health, and people talk about the common
over
good.
the health and safety
You're not going to have a
of
common
other
good. But if
people.
you're not, you have
the
the
health
Surgeon
and
General.
safety of other people.
So as you see, what they're going to do is they are going to criminalize people who who want to make a decision within themselves that, hey, I don't think that this here is best for me. What is it that this lady said that was wrong, right? That's the same thing that Aaron Rodgers said, but you see how quickly they began to shut her down. They shut her down because her voice is just as big as their voice, and they didn't want people who may be sitting on a bubble to hear, well, come to think about it, the vaccine really don't stop you from getting it, nor does it keep you from transmitting it to other people. And then a light go off in your head and you like, well, what good is it for anyway? The only benefit of the cocktail is for them and not for you. We have absolutely no benefit of this cocktail other than autoimmune diseases. That's it. The side effects on some of these people are going to hit them 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 24 months from now. But best believe that it will be seen. It will be seen. The CDC has not debunked anything that lady said that Sonny would like to say. In fact, the CDC co-signed everything that she said. And this is why people who are out here fully vaccinated still have to wear a mask, still have to be careful when they're around people. This is the reason why. Because the cocktail is not to save lives, but the cocktail is to put something synthetic in your body so that they can become, so that the government can now have ownership over you. So real quick, so I can bag that up, I'm just going to show this here. We're not going to deal with the article. There is a robot company right now that is offering up to $200,000 for your face on a robot. Okay? Up to $200,000 for your face to appear on a robot. Look, Isaiah 14, I'm going to share this here right quick, because we're about to move into this part of the story. This is what's strange in the news. We're about to move into this part of the story. Isaiah 14, 13 and 14, it says this. I'm going to start at 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nation? For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High. People, we have no idea to what extent when Lucifer said these words to himself, how much he meant it. They are now making robots. And I tell my wife this all the time, and y'all can say I'm crazy, but that's fine. I have been called worse, right? I have been called worse. But I've told my wife that I would not be surprised if we already have robots that are living with us right now as we speak. Meaning that we probably are going to work with people that are robots. Some of our kids are probably in school with robots. We'll probably made friends with robots and don't know it. And if you saying that I'm reaching, that's just only proof that you have not been paying, that you have been paying more attention to what's going on in this world, entertainment-wise, than what's really going on in this world. In the book of Jubilees, Noah saw that the demons had began to seduce his sons, and he prayed that these demons, these evil spirits, would be cast into the depths of the earth. Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, in the book of Jubilees, go read it for yourself. Shem, Ham, and Japheth, they began to see that the demons was wearing them out. And these same demons that was in the days of Noah are the same demons that are in the world now. The same thing that they was doing in the days of Noah are the same things that they are doing now. He said that I will be like the Most High. Well, he can't make life like us, right? Form man from the dust of the ground. But what he can do is that he knows technology into where he can create robots. He can alter DNA. He can make fake foods, GMO, and convince people to eat it. What is a watermelon with no seeds? How can it be real if it has no seeds? What are grapes with no seed? See? He said that he is going to be like the Most High. And the one that we forget the most is that it says that the dragon was wroth with the woman, and he went to make war with the remnant of her seed. People, when I learned about this one right here shocked me. I was not ready for this. But it started making all the sense in the world as to why they are pushing this agenda so hard now. This is the stuff that is in the news, but people don't see because they be so busy watching the other stuff. They be so busy watching the left hand that they don't be seeing what the right hand is doing. Supreme Court, this here came out April 27, year 2021, updated the 28th of April. Supreme Court, Pfizer, familiar name, Moderna, may own your genes once you're injected with their lab-created mRNA, DNA. Washington, this article is prefaced with a shout out to the good Dr. Carrie Maid. She is one of the thousands of doctors and scientists worldwide, suddenly labeled conspiracy theorists and disinformation by mainstream and social media. Dr. May tells pure reviewed truth about COVID-19 and experimental shots. And don't forget that they are experimental shots, people. That's exactly what they are. They don't have enough information on them for them to be anything else. She is still on Twitter, Facebook, and now Dr. Madich, I don't know how you pronounce her name, is also featured in a viral video warning people about experimental mRNA and viral vector shots. This is the video right here. But let's look at this. It says the Supreme Court ruled that if there is anything synthetic, not from nature, inside our genome, then whoever owns the patent on those synthetic parts now own part or all of you as a human. That means Bill and Melinda Gates, the Department of Defense, and others can literally own a human being. If this synthetic code is taken up into your genome by law, you could be owned overnight. I don't need to read anything else in that article. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that sit there so you can read it yourself as I talk. Messenger RNA, what it does is it's like CRISPR, CRISPR. Look it up, study it, understand it. The messenger RNA, what it does is it enters into your body and it's a cut and paste product. Just like if I was to go over here, highlight this, right click, see it says copy, I could copy that, right? Normally it would say cut, but because this is an article, I can't cut out of the article, right? So it cuts out our original natural DNA and it pastes in a new message and it rewrites it from then on. So the Supreme Court ruled that if there is anything synthetic, not from nature, inside our genome, then whoever owns the patent on those synthetic parts now own part of or all of you as a human. And it only makes sense. That's why I never understood why OJ went to jail for breaking in the house and getting back what belonged to him. That belonged to him. He should have a right to it. You see how this makes sense now, that this has nothing to do with health? This don't have anything to do with saving lives, but this has everything to do with making sure that the product can be tracked. Making sure that the product can be tracked. This is why Germany is going to the extent of, look, so y'all want to be hard-headed? Okay, well, you can't go to the grocery stores, you can't go to sporting events, you can't go to public venues no more. If you want to be hard-headed, this is what you do. You sit in your house until you start seeing things my way. This is why the president is telling the people here, over here, that my patience is starting to run thin. The Supreme Court did this. And this is not something that's new. This is something that has been going on for at least since 2013. With one jab in the arm, you are giving up all of your rights because now something that belongs to someone else is now inside of you and they have the patent on that, which means that they now have the patent on you. This is real, people. This is not no joke. All of this to destroy your DNA. Israel. Embrace who you are, Israel. You are royal. Walk into your royalty. The nations hate us because they are not us. I know that sounds so cliche, but that is facts. The dragon was wrought with the woman, and he went to make war with the seed, with her seed. That's us. It's about breaking you down. Once he break down your DNA, we lose connection to our very power. We lose connection to our very power. The Most High is not giving us a spirit of fear, but he's giving us a spirit of love with a sound mind. And it started out with what? One jab. Then you had to go get what? 2 jabs. Now they tell you to do what? Go get a booster. You cannot continue to put all of these chemicals into your body and think that it's going to be okay. Israel. Small group of people whom the Bible calls the synagogue of Satan, hate you and have convinced the whole world to hate you. This don't have nothing to do with a virus. This has nothing to do with saving lives, but this has everything to do owning you. This is why the scriptures say that we will have possession over those who were our captives. And they know this. Stand strong. Don't give up. Don't get weary. Continue to believe in your power. Don't listen to what the government is saying on this end or on this end, because the right and the left, they're both on the same bird. They fly together. There is not one political agenda that is suited and geared to protect you, Israel. They're going to make up criminal charges for the individual who would put these anti-Semitic flyers in Missouri City when they probably did it their own self. They're going to demonize Darrell Brooks in the news as part of the hate group Hebrew Israelites to cause people to hate us who don't want to be called Negro, who don't want to be called African American, but we want to be called by who we are, by what we are. They're going to rewrite your DNA. I'm going to go back up to the top of this here because I want you to see the names of these people. Pfizer, Moderna may own your genes once you are injected with their lab-created messenger mRNA, DNA. I am Shia Yeshub Judah. I would like to thank you for joining me tonight on the Truth Be Told Flex podcast, preferably next week. Co-host Oxify will be back with us. Coming up, what the Greeks call 2022. The show date may change as well, because I feel like my schedule is going to change up a little bit. So the show may not be airing on Thursdays. It may air on a different night. We're going to see, right? I'm just putting that out there. But whatever you do, please, please, please continue to share this show. And for those who watch this show weekly, I want to say thank you, because without you, this show wouldn't be absolutely nothing whatsoever. It's a few of you guys who come and you sit down with me and Oxify weekly, and we want to say thank you for that. And share this show. Tell as many people as you know about the show, and we'll see you this time next week. That being said, Shalom Israel, and I'm going to take you out same way I brought you in. Shalom.
It's all unraveling. It's all unraveling.
Listen in case you didn't know, no. It's almost getting close. In case you didn't know.
This has been real. We would like to thank you, and we will see you at this same time next week.
Only the ones with no faith that take the vaccines. Step to me with it, I'ma make your back lean. We at the end, new sort of make a more. Christ about to come and mop the floor up. Walking up in Louis V with your mask on. Check the me's, man, they about to get their blast on. Prophecy, interpretation, Isaiah 55:11, so it ain't no faking. Crack your dough, it's getting close. I'm here to tell you, just in case you didn't know. Listen in case you didn't know, no. It's almost getting close. In case you didn't know, no. It's all unraveling. Babylon got pregnant with a daughter.